I have finally finished Malazan, so it's time for another reading vlog. Good morning everyone, it is Saturday the 11th of May. Like I said in the intro, I finally finished my Malazan read of Reaper's Gale, so it's time to start a new vlog. I haven't even edited the vlog that's coming out where I talk about Malazan. Look at that stack of books. I tried to hide it with a jumper, it didn't really work. Anyway, so we are starting a new vlog. It's going to be 10 days of recording what I'm reading and what I'm doing. Probably going to be more food in this one, team, just if that's not something that you enjoy or want to watch, just as a bit of a fair content warning there. I'm still sort of learning how to incorporate more plant-based meals into my diet. And yeah, that kidney journey is still ongoing, so, and it will be for many, many years. But while I'm still learning, it's a big part of my life right now. So cooking and all that will still be included. But let's talk about what I'm reading. So I'm currently listening to Read On by Brandon Sanderson, and there's a co-author. I'll put the cover up here because I can't remember the co-author's name. This is novella 2 in the Skyward Flight, whatever that series is called, series. I realized that on my TBR, I had a bunch of indie books that none of them have audiobooks. So I was like, well, I'm not going to have a whole month without listening to audiobooks, so what will I do? And there's 3 novellas that I need to read or listen to before I get to the next book in the series. So I was planning on just smashing those out. So I've listened to 1 already this month. I'm on to the second one. Now, Read On, I'm liking the second one a lot more. The first one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about FM. So each novella follows a different character and sort of ties the stories together between the books. So you do need to read them, and it does expand the world and these characters so that we get a little bit in books 1 and 2. But I'm having a good time with it. But I am enjoying book 2, or the second novella, more. The other thing I'm reading right now physically is The Binding Power by Cassidy Faylene. I'm 100 pages into this. I started last weekend, but Malazan just took over my life, and I finished that first. So I should get a chunk of this done today, which is very exciting. And on ebook, I am reading Purged by Aaron N. Hall, which is the second book in his series, the Weaverlin Chronicles. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. So everything I'm reading right now, as of this moment, is YA, and it's a really nice break from Malazan. I enjoyed Malazan, but they take me a long time, and I need a breather from that. Now, as these are all shorter books, I am hoping to pick up a couple of other things in this vlog. I'll probably get to the third novella, hopefully, from Brandon Sanderson and the co-author. I'll put the third novella up here as well, so you can have a look at that. And if I get through the ebook and the physical book, I would like to start Light Fighters by Palmer Pickering over on my physical copy. And ebook, I would like to get to The Marked Prince by M.H. Woodscourt, which is another YA, and start smashing out some of those review copies, which I've been behind on. So very much a review copy month for me outside of the audiobooks, but that is what I'm hoping to get done in this vlog, and I hope I'll have an update for you this afternoon with some more of The Binding Power and potentially some more of Purge by Aaron N. Hall. So I'm going to eat breakfast, get ready for work, and see you then. Okay, I've read nothing, basically, since yesterday. It's Mother's Day here in Australia today, and we went out for brunch to see the person who's putting us up. We took her out to breakfast, and her partner just had a birthday, so we went out and had brunch, gave them some flowers and some presents. That stack of books behind me, I'm waiting to open after a book haul, because there's just so much stuff happening here at the moment, and I'm trying to go the rest of this vlog without purchasing another book. We'll check back in at the end of the vlog and see if that is what happened. I read 100 pages of The Binding Power yesterday by Cassidy Faylene. So interesting stuff here. You can definitely, it is for a younger audience. Some of the language choices and whatnot are not things that I generally gravitate towards, but remembering that it is for a younger audience than myself It is quite good, very easy to follow. You can hear Rachel tapping away in the background on her thesis, so apologies, I don't have the mic on at the moment. We do have some interesting stuff happening with a character called Kara, who is being sought out by the goddess, and that's a whole new storyline that I'm very much enjoying. We're also back and forthing a lot on Hero, which is the new, well, actually, I almost said a spoiler for book one. We're going back and forth on one of the characters, Hero, whether he's good or bad, and I'm really not sure at this point. But I'm 200-ish pages in. I don't know if I'm going to get any more of that read tonight. I'm not feeling in a reading mood, and at the moment we are just taking what we are feeling. So other than that, I am over halfway through Read Dawn by Brandon Sanderson, and I've just downloaded a book last night with my Audible credit, which Roger recommended to me as something like A Taste of Golden Iron, and I think I just need a bit of a genre shake-up. So it is a romantasy, male written by a trans author, so that could be fun. I will have a Queer Corner episode coming up at some point with Roger, where we talk about, and Jeff and Jess as well, if we can all get together to talk about that stuff. So that's what's going on. There's a fly in front of the camera, which is very annoying. So yeah, that's pretty much it for a reading update. I'll talk to you about what I'm watching. I don't often watch TV, and I know it's an indicator that my brain needs a break if I'm gravitating towards a show. Oh, the fly's on me. On you, mate. We'll banish the fly later. So I've been watching Yellow Jackets, is a heavy drama. Rachel's asked me why I like to be stressed all the time. Go away, fly. Because I pick TV shows which are high drama, and it's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, it's amazing. If you like drama, though. If you don't, maybe don't gravitate towards it, but it's messed up. It's messed up drama. These kids are on a flight to a soccer game because they make nationals, and the plane crashes, and it's about survival. I love survival stuff so much, so it's hitting all of my good brain situations, but it is stressful. It's crazy what these kids went through, and also on the flip side of that, their adult selves as they deal with it, as something has now come up. And the other thing I've been watching is Elsbeth, which is Carrie Preston, I think her name is. Super underrated actress, and that's very light and fluffy. She is a lawyer with ADHD who has moved to New York to be an observer for the police, and picks up on a lot of little details while being just classic ADHD, and it's fun, it's light, and I'm really enjoying both of those things. Hopefully next time I do this, I have a reading update, but we will see you when that happens. I've had no veggies today, so it's bulk veg for dinner. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:45 on Monday the 13th. I have got a couple things on today. I'm in the chair that Ari normally sits in, and she is just watching me, being like, excuse me, that's not for you. Got a few things on today, so I have to drop the car off because our horn isn't working, so that's getting repaired today, and then tomorrow I need to take it to get a roadworthy certificate to try and get the car registered here, because we only have 3 months to do it, and we're going with 3 months from the date we bought the house, and we're actually residents of Perth. It's all a little bit wild over here, and it takes a very long time to do anything, but then they say your car is legally not registered if you haven't changed the registration over within 3 months of moving here. So, I mean, the 3 months have gone, but 3 months since being a permanent, resident property owner have not. Hopefully, that's fine. We'll find out tomorrow. So I've got some forms that we need to do tonight. But anyway, I've got to take the car in. I've got a kidney appointment today, so I need to go to a nurse because they've acknowledged that this is a chronic health condition, and I won't harp on about it like I did in the last vlog. But because it is a chronic health condition, I may be able to get on a chronic health plan, which just helps alleviate some of the costs, not a whole bunch, but some of the costs when it comes to nurses. So I have a nurse appointment this morning, followed by my regular GP, and I had an ultrasound last week, so I should get the results from the ultrasound today to see what they're doing physically, rather than just not really knowing and changing the diet to see where we're at there. So that'll be interesting. But the car has a 4 or 5 hour wait, and I don't like I don't have another vehicle or another person to come pick me up. So I thought, you know what, let's make the best out of a boring situation. So I'm going to take my personal laptop and the book I'm reading, The Binding Power, and also my Kindle, because my attention span's not like fantastic. So 20 minutes on one thing, I'll need to switch up and do something else. It's my whole work in progress has been written in 30-minute sprints, 3 to 4 days a week. That's just how it's working, but you know what? That's still going to get you a book at the end of the day. So I'm going to take those things, do a couple of writing sprints, hopefully get a couple of reading sprints in. It's very likely I'll walk across the shops across the road and have a look at what that bookstore has happened, walk through the library. Yeah, 4 or 5 hours I'm sure will go in a jiff. So that's what today holds, and then we're going to come back. And I've been playing a new game called Backwards. It's an early access on Steam. It's like RuneScape before any updates happened, and it was just like the graphics were shit, with a bit of Stardew Valley. It's a survival-based building game, and I walked straight into a boss last night, and that was not fun for me. So I've now watched other people play it, and I might give it another go tonight. I don't know. And then, yeah, just read some more. So Monday's normally the day that I do like house chores and things like that, but I'll be out of the house. So yeah, that's what today holds. If I get anywhere near finishing any books, I'll give you an update later today. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday the 14th. I have the day off work. I've just walked the dog and been to the gym. I went and bought some fresh produce, and now I'm going to make pancakes and fruit and Greek yogurt. It's going to be amazing. I have a couple of hours where I've got to go and take the car in to get a roadworthy, and I finished Redawn, the second novella in the Skyward Flight, or whatever that series is, from Brandon Sanderson. I like this one a lot more. I like the character of Alanique in the second book in the series, which none of the names are ringing a bell right now, but I really enjoyed that character. So getting to explore her more and seeing her build her relationships with the other members of the flight and the crew was really cool. And again, the exploration of the slugs and the powers that they hold was a lot of fun. So I think I like this one slightly more than the first novella, but I'm still sitting at around a 3.5 for it. They're not wowing me, they're just enjoyable. I'm 338 pages into The Binding Power. Fingers crossed I finish that today. I've got about 170 pages to go. That's going to be the main reading goal of today, but I will have to wait around for a couple of hours, potentially, for the car today. So I'm going to pack a salad and then head off, get this roadworthy, and potentially finish the book up, which would be great. I have a few hours now this morning before I have to go anyway, so I'm going to cook breakfast for everyone and read a bit, potentially. Backwards, the game, just stole my life yesterday, and I can feel myself wanting to go back to it, even when I turned it off last night after 4 hours of playing it yesterday, which is not a thing I do, not in a row. If I game, I tend to like do it for an hour, go and do something else, come back for an hour. Anyway, over the day, I played it for about 4 hours, and it's just scratching that completion itch for me there. I like farming and survival games because there's always something to do. And then when I run out of things to do, I get bored. And I thought that I'd run out of things to do yesterday because it's only in like the early stages, only in early access. And like I beat the boss, I've gone to all the areas that I can, and now I get to like upgrade the house. I was like, you know what? This wood house ain't cutting it. I'm going to do a stone house. Anyway, it's going to take hours of gathering stones. And then I found I could build dynamite and I could destroy rocks. Anyway, that's where my brain is at. Apparently, I just need some very simple crafting fun. And that's what's going on. So I'll probably do that today as well. But I'll give you an update when I've read more. So you know how I already have enough books to read. I've made this entire TBR about review copies. I've now decided to do Spiff No for June, Spiff Bo for July. I got a library card and I went to the library and I found a couple of books that I'm very interested in reading, and they were there and I just picked them up. So good on you, Kris, for having your finger in the camera. I've got 21 days to read these. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. I got Where It Rains in Colour by Denise Crittenden. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I love this cover. Also, I got it from the library. I didn't spend any money on books. I did have a book arrive yesterday. Anyway, and then I got The Night House by Jo Nesbo. I'm curious about this one. I'm not normally a huge haunted house guy. Like, out of all the horror tropes, haunted house is definitely my least favorite. But it has an interesting premise, and I saw this on a channel a while ago. where it did not work for the person who read it, but it made me go, maybe that would work for me. So I picked it up, it was there. And then I also had to move the chair, got Her Majesty's Coven, which I've been looking at for a very long time. Her Majesty's Royal Coven, apologies. And they had the second book, which is a bit of fun. They actually had a decent fantasy selection at the library, for such a small library. Anyway, who knows if I'm gonna get to them. You can renew up to 5 times. We will see what happens. G'day team, it is Wednesday night, the 15th. I've just finished The Binding Power and I'm currently exporting my video for tomorrow, which I'm very late at getting to. So it may be up tomorrow, it may be up Friday, who knows at this point. It's currently 9 o'clock. I'm really tired because I am terrible at staying up late, but we'll see. We'll see if it goes up tomorrow, who knows. It was fun, but it's probably a little bit young for my personal tastes, in that the language and the storyline unfolded in sort of simple ways for that audience. So if I was reading this as a teenager, I would have been so engrossed in the story, and it was still enjoyable to read as an adult. Sorry, the ring light is on because extra light on the desk, so it's a bit glary. But it was fun. The premise from the first book, we've got 3 young lads vying for the throne, is still very much what's happening in this book. We get a deeper look at the characters in here. I was confused with Hero, who is one of the people who were fighting for the throne in the first book, whether he's a good or bad the entire way through, I'm still not sure. But the complexities and the machinations that are happening behind the scenes got more complex. So overall, I had a decent time with it, probably sitting around a 3-star for that, and 3-star is not a bad score for people who rate books. It means I liked it. I probably won't read it again, but I will continue on with the series when the next book comes out, because I'm 2 books in. These lads, they're all still fighting. I've got to know who comes out on top. Something that was a little bit interesting and not my usual flavour that I started was A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, which I'll put up here. This is a male-male fantasy romance written by a trans author, and it was brought to my attention by Roger over at Rogers Reads for liking A Taste of Golden Iron. Now, I'm 25% into this, and it's delightful. I don't like the main character. I don't tend to like main characters personally. I tend to get more invested in side characters and what's happening around them. But Velison in this book is a little bitch, and like terrible things happen to Velison, straight up. This guy is so traumatized, and rightly so, but I just don't vibe with the character, as he is who he is, but he's gone through something horrific and he has to go through that. Check your trigger warnings for this one, folks, because they come in very fast. I'm listening to the audiobook. There was a trigger warning at the beginning of the book, so that's kind of nice for people who are going through some stuff. You don't want to be triggered by this book, but suicidal ideation and rape and sexual abuse very much in there very, very early on, so I will tell you that much. But it's just like a royal male romance. We're following what is essentially an arranged marriage. I'm not sure what else is happening outside of that right now, but a plot has just sort of unfolded that this arranged marriage to this family isn't something that everyone wants, because now they're trying to murder people in the family. So it's kind of delightful. I think it's what my brain needs right now. The prose is very flowery, very formal, as tends to be when you are looking at sort of royal romantasy books, I've found. And I'm really enjoying it. The audio is fantastic. The narrators are doing a really good job. But 25% in, I can feel myself reading this one relatively quickly, because it's just got that really addictive feeling, and I need to know when they're gonna do the needful, if they do. So we'll see. I waited 430 pages in A Taste of Golden Iron for anything to happen, and I still loved it. So we'll see where this one goes. In terms of the next physical read, I do want to pick up Light Fighters, but I might go to my Kindle and read Purged, because I'm only 6% of the way through that. So we'll see what happens next. I swear, this book keeps getting bigger every time I sit down and do a writing sprint. This chapter is going to need a sledgehammer whenever I get to editing it. But I've just hit 74,000 words. I was hoping to have 75,000 words this week. It is Thursday, maybe Saturday morning. I'll hit 75,000. We'll see. I'm just sort of writing when it feels organic at the moment, rather than trying to force anything. So at this point, the book will be done. When it gets done, I am still aiming to have this with an editor by the end of the year. I'm just going to curb back the plan to have 2 and have 1 by the end of the year, and I've also started plotting out a novella series, which is just a bit of fun for me, so I can continue writing as dev edits and things are happening with this one, and then when I get that back, I can hopefully start going into book 2. But anyway, I started a new book last night because I'm trying to read before going to bed rather than being on my phone. A physical book, even like trying to take out the tech from the room, so not even a Kindle. And I was going to start Light Fighters, but I think I'm going to need a bit more brain power than sleepy brain at night. So I started a library book that I got, which is The Night House by Joan Nesbo. I'm about 40 pages into it at the moment. It's fine. We're basically following, nothing's really happened yet, but there's a kid, Richard, who his parents died in a fire, and he's moved to a new town. His aunt and uncle have taken him in, and he is a bit of a bully and a bit of an outcast, and he's doing that to protect himself. Kid's got trauma, and he knows that he's part of the piranha caste or whatever it was called, the people that are outcasts, people with sharp teeth or whatever. And he and Tom, another kid, go and play, and then he dares Tom to do a crank call at an old phone booth, and Tom gets sucked in to the phone booth. So we're now following the aftermath of that. Basically, the people that were crank calling now no longer exist in the phone books, and Richard is going, oh shit, now I've got to try and find, these kids who are getting sucked in or just being unalived. So that's where we are at the moment. This is my first Joan Nesbo. I've been really interested in reading Joan Nesbo for a little while now, but the series, I think I used to own the first couple of books, but I thought I'd do it on audio. Anyway, it's also at the library, so I started that. It's relatively short, like it's quite big print, so we'll see if I can get that done, as well as Purged by Aaron N. Hall. And I still want to start Light Fighters before the end of the vlog, but it is the 16th and this ends on the 20th, so we'll see how we go. But now I'm going to go make some breakfast and start work for the day. I was wondering what that was the whole time. That is where the vacuum lives now, apparently. Just hanging out. Okay, bye. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday. I don't know how bad that wind's going to be in the microphone. Saturday the 18th of May. I brought Ari to the dog park because she was pulling a lot on her walk, so she can go and run here, which she's now currently doing. It's like having a toddler and letting them loose in the wild. I only have reference of my nieces and nephews, but I am public, so if anyone walks by or drives by, I'm going to look like an idiot, which is fine. We'll wait for this car. Very good. So, reading update. I have not finished anything. I started The Night House, which I think I've talked about. I'm halfway through that, so about 50% of the way through. I have it's fine. It's fine, it's not wowing me. It's very easy to consume, brain fodder. Horror with kids, haunted house stuff, not my shtick. But it's not really emphasizing the haunted house aspect. There's just a house I have to go to, which is creepy, but it's not the only element in the story, so it's fine enough. I'll finish it. I'm hoping to finish that one either today or tomorrow. I'm 36% of the way through of Purged by Aaron N. Hall. This is a very classic YA fantasy. We've got a chosen one. It feels like a classic fantasy, and the king in this book has been asked to help another town which is struggling, and they go to the town and something feels off and there's some dark magic and things like that. I can't say too much because it's a book 2 and any names I give you may be spoilers. What I will say is this is a very easy and comforting read. If you're looking to get into fantasy, if you're looking for your kids or your kids looking to get into fantasy and they're sort of, I would say around 10 to 12 and up, this is super easy to get into, very clean. It was written from someone who was quite religious, so there's a lot of sort of, I guess, Christian allegory in it, clean, and just the nice side of faith has been explored there, but that is also present. And then the other thing I'm reading is A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. I'm about 50% of the way through that as well. So that is a male fantasy romance, and it's really cute. It's really nice. Wow, that sun came up fast. We'll stand back up. Really cute, really nice, and having a good time with it, more so than I expected. There's still like not a hell of a lot happening in it, except for the relationship between these two. There is now like a mystery element because someone keeps trying to kill Velison, one of the main characters, and we're trying to figure out all of that, but it's mainly about these two lads. It's cute. Anyway, that's it for the reading update. I'm going to go finish walking the dog and get ready for work today. Happy Sunday, everyone. It is Sunday the 19th, the second last day of the vlog. So, I need to finish another book. I did finish The Night House by Joe Nesbo last night. It was a quick little read. It took me 3 days, I think. It was 260 pages, which is funny because this entire book is like 320, but the last, 60 pages are a chapter of this guy's Harry Hole series, I think it is, like the detective series that he does. So I was like, oh, the book just ends. And there's like, feels like there's a chunk at the end, and it felt wrong. But I finished it, I gave it a 3-star, it was fine. It was a bit weird, it was like a fever dream, but we're following, like the first chunk of this book, which is the biggest chunk of this book, follows Richard, who's like a bully at school, and he's seeing all this weird stuff happen, and he's trying to help the police find what's happening to these kids that keep disappearing, and then they find this black word magic is driving people to do insane things and trying to stop that. And then like part 2 is 15 years later, where he's now an author who's written about this stuff, and then that goes a bit pear-shaped, and the last bit is like him in a mental health facility. So it's all a bit weird. Still unsure how I feel about it overall, but it was fine. Like, it was entertaining enough. It read really fast. Little horror palate cleanse, I guess. Just been to the gym, picked up some stuff for breakfast, and naturally we're going out for brunch now. Usually we take Ari out on an outing on Sundays because it's the day that Rachel and I have off together. So we might go and have brunch by the ocean. There's a restaurant down the road, which is like at the ocean front. Beautiful blue day. Be rude not to, right? Well, we've still got some disposable income. So that is the plans for today. I am 56% of the way through Purge by Aaron N. Hall. I'd like to get to maybe 75% today and then finish it off tomorrow. And I've also started Light Fighters by Palmer Pickering. I've only read the prologue though, so I'm hoping to get another chapter or 2 of that done today as well. But that is a chunky beast, and that's probably going to take me a majority of, if not the entire week, next week to get through. So there's that one, and then once Purged is done, I might go to a review copy. I've done a bit of YA this month. I might need a break from YA. No, I definitely need a break from YA. So I might go to The Council of Athesia by D.H. Hoskins, I think it is. I'll put the correct name down there if that was wrong. This is an arc that I've been given. So political fantasy. I'm feeling some political fantasy. It's kind of been nice the last week or so to really be in a reading mood, which I haven't been for a long time, in that all I want to do is read. Like, I finished work, I read for an hour, had dinner, just wanted to get back into reading and really enjoying reading. I think it's been a long time since I've felt the desire to just sit down and read all day. So the fact I finished a book in 3 days is like a miracle. But yeah, so those are the plans for today. I need to film some content because I'm out. I have a book haul coming out tomorrow, which you would have already seen by the time this goes up. But that's it for content, and this when it's finished. So I need to do a wrap up because I'm late for an April wrap up, and also the May indie releases because I've already read that list and pre-ordered a bunch of stuff, but I haven't done the video yet. So that is on the cards for today, and then editing tomorrow's video. Anyway, this is Rambly. I will see you in the next clip. Bye. Just quickly before I start doing my wrap up for April, I read 4 books in April, and one of them is like a carryover because I finished it on day 1 of May, but I'm counting it anyway, which is probably the worst month of reading I've had since starting BookTube. And I say worst, it's subjective, right? I was reading Reaper's Gale for the whole month, and I just did not finish it in the month of April, and also Dante's Inferno carried over. So I've got a few carryovers. Yeah, 4 books. Anyway, I said at some point in this vlog that I was going to challenge myself to not buy a book for the rest of the vlog, and just a quick update on that. I bought 5. I've purchased 5 books since I said that. So this low by year where I've given myself a budget is going to be very difficult because I have no self-control. But helping that will be no disposable income, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to go film the wrap-up and the May indie releases. Now, just a quick update. Hello everyone, we made it to the end of the vlog. It is Tuesday the 21st. I was meant to do this yesterday and I forgot. But I did finish Purged by Aaron N. Hall, which means I think we did finish 3 books in this vlog. So yes, go Kris. Even if one of them was a novella, we're still going to count it. I finished Purged by Aaron N. Hall, really had a good time with it. This is a simple premise done really well. It's got a chosen one trope, which is not my favorite. I don't tend to gravitate towards it, and it's a book too, so I'm going to try and be as vague as possible. We're following a king who's been on a throne for a little while. He's quite young. I think he's in his early 20s, and he has been approached by another town to say that they are suffering and they need help, but the king in this book gets a bad feeling about it, and then he says, well, I can't really not go to a town in need. So he goes and realizes that it's riddled with dark magic and there's a much more sinister plot underneath that all. But again, simple premise, done super well. Had a very good time with it. I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars. This is a YA book. I'm not the target audience, so I've gone to review it as someone from that target audience and trying to, I guess, think of what I would have wanted to read at that age group, which I would have totally gravitated towards this. I would have been super into reading if this was the sort of things that I was picking up. So I had a really good time with that. I have started Light Fighters by Palmer Pickering. I'm only 36 pages into it. It is a chunky beast. I've only read the prologue and the first chapter. I'm hoping to get a decent chunk of that done today, but it will not be in this vlog, so watch out for a wrap up for my thoughts on that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the reading vlog this month. I will be away in June, so it will probably start around a similar time, probably around the 10th of June will be when I start it, and then I'm hoping to get these out a little bit quicker after filming. So if I'm aiming to do this mid-month, which means I'm going to do a chunk of reading mid-month normally, so you'll get more books in these vlogs rather than, you know, starting a whole bunch at the beginning and ending a whole bunch at the end. We're just going to go in the middle. I am hoping to like film it for that 10 days and then have it out by the end of the month or really early the next month. So we'll see if that works. Anyway, that is it for this reading vlog. If you like the content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.